He's a hell of a cat.
It's okay. Okay, we'll bring this regular council meeting to order for March the 11th, and I'll ask Councillor Bates to please read the land acknowledgement.
The town of Innisfail acknowledges that we are meeting on Treaty 7 territory, the ancestral and territorial territory of the Blackfoot Confederacy, Kainai, Piikani, Siksika, as well as the Tsuut'ina First Nation and Stoney Nakoda First Nation. We acknowledge that this territory is home to the Métis Nation of Alberta Region 3 within the historical Northwest Métis homeland. We acknowledge the many First Nations, Métis and Inuit, who have lived in and cared for these lands for generations. We are grateful for the traditional knowledge keepers and elders who are still with us today and those who have gone before us. We make this acknowledgement as an act of reconciliation and gratitude to those whose territory we reside on.
Okay, thank you. And we'll move into 2.1. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Yes, addition, council, for your consideration, in-camera item, industrial developments, as per the MGA 197.2 and FOIP 16.1B and 24.1, please.
Okay, thank you. Could I please have someone make a motion to adopt the agenda as amended? Councillor Heisted?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Okay, carried. And we will move into 3.1, the regular council meeting minutes for February the 26th. And if somebody's ready, I'll just have you make a motion, please, that we accept those as presented. Councillor Harrison?
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. I'd so move.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any questions or changes? No? All in favor? Carried. And we'll move on to 3.2, agenda and priorities meeting minutes for March the 4th. Somebody would like to make a motion, Councillor Bates?
Sure, I'll move those minutes.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? All right, carried. And we'll move into 4.1, Chief Administrative Officer Report.
Okay, thank you. The report is there for council's information. If you have any questions regarding the report or anything else, I'd be happy to answer your questions. If there's any items you would like to highlight on, please let me know. Otherwise, if you could accept my report as information, please.
Okay, does anybody have any questions? No, then I'll please have someone make a motion that we accept the CEO report as presented. Councillor Dunham. Councillor Dunham.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. I move that council approves the Chief Administrative Office report dated March 11, 2024 as information.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Okay, carried. And we will move on to Council Action Control 4.2. Just have a quick review. And if there's no questions, I'll just have somebody please make a motion that we accept this as information. Councillor Bates.
I do see one duplication. In red, we have the Council Code of Conduct Social Media, which I know we're going to work on today, and then next page, we have it in black. Unless I didn't notice it before, but I guess when we're done today, we can make it all red.
Mayor Barclay, to Councillor Bates, it probably does read twice. I haven't quite found it myself, but it did come 2 different meetings, so it would have been associated with those 2 directives. Today would be ultimately your final piece associated with this item, I would gather.
Okay, thank you. I'll move that we accept the report as presented.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Okay, carried. And then we'll go into 4.3, a request for decision on the Innisfail Citizens on Patrol funding request with CEO Becker.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. On February the 20th, council reviewed some correspondence from the newly established Citizens on Patrol, and Protective Services staff met with the President and Vice President recently, just to look at more detail as per your request on what they're asking. The recommendation based on that conversation remains at $5,000 or based on a number you deem appropriate. You can see in the report there has been some out-of-pocket expenses, and we will try to work with them as a startup to help them on the initial training for first aid and so forth. Yeah, so I think they just need some seed money to get going. Not sure about ongoing requests. It was stated this morning about a potential application for a community benefit grant. But I think consider it a one-time ask until we hear back later.
Okay, can I please have someone make the recommended motion? Councillor Heistad?
I'll make that motion that council provide $5,000 for funding to the Innisfail Citizens on Patrol Association.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Councillor Harrison?
Thank you, Mayor Barkley, through to our CAO. Are they like a society that can apply for grant funding so that they have that opportunity?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Heistad?
Yeah, and my question to CO Becker would be, they're able to give tax receipts, something like if people were to, or not tax receipts, but a donation. Are you allowed to donate?
I'm not sure about their corporate status.
Okay.
Councillor Heistad.
And no, I was going to ask CEO Becker if there was an opportunity. Do you feel there's an opportunity to work with this group and our policing committee? Is there a way to have a some discussion and help them build their goals or work towards building their group?
To Councillor Heistad's question, we've assigned a peace officer to support them. That'll be reporting back through the committee, through the manager. If that suits appropriate to council, that's kind of the path forward we felt would be appropriate. So we feel they directly need direct support on the operational side. And I think we're doing a good job on assigning that one individual to their group.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, the peace officer, as well as they have one, I believe they have one RCMP officer that's to them as well, right? Okay, thanks.
Okay, so we have a motion for the $5,000. All in favor? Okay, carried unanimous. Thank you. And we will move into 5.1 with Director Kennedy and RFD on some fleet vehicles.
Yes, we got a few here for you. Yeah, so here we have the RFQ we sent out in regards to 4 pickup trucks within our fleet. So units 28, 281, 306, and 401 are all units ranging from 2003 to 2007 with a high mileage and accumulations of rust on the units. These units are some of the older ones in our fleet. They will be sold at auction this year once the new ones are put in place. The RFQ was issued on January 12th and submitted onto Alberta Purchasing Connection, closed on February 15th, where we did receive 12 submissions, where all the requirements were met. I did list below the top 5 scored out of the 12, and this is based on price, warranty, and towing capacity for the units. Top 5 were, on the top of the list was Palliser Chevrolet. Second was Wolf Chevrolet out of Edmonton for 95 points, Rocky Mountain Dodge with 93 points, 4-Lane Ford 85, and Macklin Ford with 80 points. It is our recommendation to purchase the 4 units from Palliser Chevrolet in Innisfail for the total price of $216,732, as well as include a budget of $5,000 per unit for the additional items that we do in-house. That includes the headache racks, lights, radios, etc. within those units. So if council has any questions, I can answer those.
All right, thank you. Could I please have someone make the recommended motion? Councillor Maceros?
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. I move that council approves the purchase of 4 2024 1500 Silverado pickup trucks from Palliser Chevrolet for the total price of $236,732 to be funded from the Fleet Capital Reserve.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any questions about this? All in favor? Okay, unanimous. Thank you.
Great.
And we will move on to 5.2.
Yeah, so this one here is the purchase of 2 emergency services pickup trucks. A little background, Unit 705 is our Fire Chief Command Unit. It is an existing, or it's a 2015 high mileage unit. This unit will be sold at auction as well, once the new one is put in place. The second unit is our Protective Services truck, a 2014, with 113,000 kilometers, but does require a number of upgrades to meet the new specifications. This unit we do plan on keeping within our fleet as a spare unit for Bylaw. A request for quotation was issued on January 12th on Alberta Purchasing Connection, which closed on February 15th as well. This one we did receive 6 submissions. We scored these units based on price, warranty, and the emergency responder package listed within the unit. Just going down the list, so Wolf Chevrolet had 95 points, 4-lane Ford, 88 points, Palliser Chev, 85, Camp Clark Ford, 83, Macklin Ford, 78, and Metro Ford, 73. It is our recommendation to purchase the 2 units, 2015 Silverado SSV units from Wolf Chevrolet in Edmonton for the purchase price of $111,460. As well, we are to include a budget of $20,000 per unit. This includes emergency responder lights, winch, radio, decals, and a few other things on each unit. And that would be coordinated through the town. So I'll answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Please have somebody make the recommended motion.
I'd so move. Oh, better read the motion.
It's right up there.
Oh. Council approves the purchase of 2 2024 1500 Silverado pickup trucks from Wolf Chevrolet for the total price of $151,460 to be funded from the Fleet Capital Reserve.
Thank you, Councillor Harrison. And did you have a comment as well?
Yes, I do have a question. You had mentioned, Director Kennedy, that in the purchase price of the 2 vehicles, there's an emergency services package that's included. I see here that we're asking for an additional $11,000 per unit. What does that emergency package that we're purchasing with the units consist of?
Yeah, so to Councillor Harrison, so the SSV unit is a special, it's got special suspension, it's actually raised. There's a number of items within that SS package that's included in the price. What the additional 20,000 is for items that we put on that doesn't include it in the unit.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, Councillor Bates.
Yeah, I just wanted to get straight in my mind which ones we're replacing. So is the fire chief command truck the old Ford crew cab red that goes, I'm just asking which truck that is, or is that,
Nope.
that?
That one's the manager lease SUV.
Oh, okay, so it's not a truck now, it will become a truck, okay. And the other one, protective services truck, is that, we're gonna keep it as a spare for Bylaw, so is that one of the Bylaw trucks?
Correct.
And so currently, before we do this, we have a Bylaw Ford Explorer and 1 truck? Is that what we have, or 2 trucks?
So existing right now, we have the I guess, good clarification on your question.
Well, I know we have an SUV
Yeah.
in Bylaw, and at least 1 truck, but I remember from previous council that we kept one as a spare before, and maybe it got worked its way down to Public Works or something. So how many vehicles do we have today in Bylaw?
So we'll have, this would be the 2 Bylaw units, so we'll have the SUV still. And then we'll be replacing the pickup truck that's in Bylaw right now with this new unit.
There's only 1 in Bylaw right now.
Yeah, and then we have a spare, the red truck you're referring to is the emergency services on the fire department.
Yeah, no, I had that one. I got that one figured out. Just Bylaw, we have 2 vehicles today.
Correct.
We'll end up with 2 and a spare.
Correct.
Thank you, just to get it all. Thank you.
And Councillor Heistad.
Yeah, just on that, the 2014, 113,000 kilometers, it just seems like there's not a lot of kilometers on it. So that's what, as I was kind of curious why we'd get a new truck. Just curious on that. And then as to the rankings, how does that score out? Like, we're pretty close to some of these other ones. Like, can you give us a detail on some of the ranking?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Councillor Hysted. So the reason that we're getting this one is the amount of cost that would be required to do the upgrades
Yeah.
needed to the unit. That's why we're actually upgrading this one or going to a new unit and keeping it, because of the low mileage, we're keeping it within our fleet. That's why we're keeping it. In regards to the scoring was based on the price, the warranty, and emergency response package. So we took price at 40%, warranty at 20%, and then emergency response package itself was at 40%? 40, yep, 80-20. And then the way we did it is just had your price. Whoever had the top price got the top marks. But then whoever had the best package offered the best package within the unit, that got scored accordingly as well. That's why there's, in this case, you'll see that there's not 100 points submitted to one because they all varied in price and scoring. So
Yeah.
there wasn't a clear 100% marks across the board.
Yeah, and the reason why I'm asking is just it's not a local shop, so it's good for us to have that information available if anybody asks us. So thanks.
So my question, Director Kennedy, is I'm not necessarily supportive of the motion because I would like to see us purchase local. I look at our community economic development strategy and, you know, it's based around supporting local and local businesses expanding and we know that, you know, when we buy local, that money stays in our community and, you know, there's local businesses that do a lot for the community. So I'm wondering what leeway do we have on this recommendation and
Not sure how to answer that.
uh-oh.
So Councillor Mayor Barkley's, I'm already flustered. Mayor Barkley's question. No. Basically, our tools for procurement goes through council's policy. We have a pretty robust policy that outlines how we tender and how we score, and it's based on the information. And with a vehicle, it's pretty set. There's really no leeway. It's price is price. The proponents submit based on the scope. So price, warranty, package is all related to a number, so it's factual. And that's the basis of the director's information. To point it to local, it does not align up with our current procurement policy.
And maybe we need to change the procurement policy? Or
Yeah.
is that kind of offside too with?
It is, Mayor Barkley. It's, we have an obligation through I don't even know what it's called, Northwest.
New West, that's right.
Yeah, we have to submit it right across Western Canada. So there's some rules with how we procure, and we have to make it fair and equitable, even outside our municipal boundaries, fortunately
What
and
happens
unfortunately.
What happens if we don't?
I don't know, you could certainly test that, Mayor Barkley, but definitely legalities are part of those discussions, and you're subject to some liability.
Okay.
But I'm not saying this, but in procurement in general, there's sometimes, you know, we want to shop local as best we can, but to make it a bigger geographical area is also a benefit to the town of Innisfail.
Okay, Councillor Hystad?
Yeah, this is good. With that agreement, that Northwest agreement, it's been around, I think, probably 14, 15 years, isn't it? Something like that?
At least.
Yeah. So has any previous council gone against that agreement? I'm curious because of the penalty. Yeah.
Not in the last 6 years, Councillor Heisted.
So,
You know, it's really your call. It's your decision. It's as long as you understand your liability associated with the rules, then that's my job. I'm saying potential legalities when you don't follow those pieces of legislation. So long as you're aware, it's council's call.
So when you say potential legalities, do you know what that would entail? Like, you don't know?
Potentially, if you look at the listing there, 1 through 6, you know, Wolf Chevrolet could say, you know what, in a public process, I was appointed 95. You need to have a really good reason why you wouldn't award it to them. Through director's other work, and you can see that shortly with his contract with infrastructure improvements, there's previous experiences. So for in this case, if we had a previous experience with Wolf, that would be a reason why you would not look at their highest score as an award, but we'd have a justification. You cannot, without a justification, it's very hard to go against that procurement that's really set already.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Heistam?
Is that it? Does anybody want to go with 4-lane Ford? I'm curious. Sorry, there's a motion on,
There's a motion on the table, so,
don't want to amend it?
well, I think we should vote on the motion and
Okay,
see what happens from there. So we
All
have a
right.
motion to, Councillor Dunham?
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. I'm not ready to vote on this at this moment, to be very honest. I'd like a little bit more information, a little bit more time. What I see is that if we decide not to, then what is it to stop position number 2, position number 3, position number 4 coming back at us? So if we could, I would like to table this to another meeting, please, and get a little bit more information.
CEO Becker?
Before council goes into that, could you provide some indication what information you're seeking?
I'm not understanding the legalities and potentially what that could mean towards the town, and I know you don't have all that information in front of you right now, but this to me just feels like it's a little bit bigger than just a 5-minute decision and discussion on what potentially could be the pushback on the town and to us as a council.
So to the question, or to the point, Councillor Dunham, what beyond what I explained do you require clarification on?
Just what, like, would it be a financial liability against us? Would it be, I'm just not prepared at this time. I'm just not feeling comfortable that I have enough information to make a solid decision at this point.
Yeah, I would add maybe a couple of things. Might be financial, could be reputational as well. So, you know, we've put this out and on Alberta Purchasing Connection, and now the bids have come in, and now we pick something else. And I'm not saying we shouldn't. I'm just saying that that could be a potential issue. But deep breath over there. So did you want a table, or do you want to, why don't,
Can I ask my fellow councillors how they're feeling about it? If everybody
Yeah,
else is confident,
absolutely,
I
for
guess
sure.
I'll.
we'll go around the table, see what everybody, do you want a table, or do you want to have a vote? Councillor Wing?
You're gonna hate me because I did the fundamentals of parliamentary procedure course all day Saturday, so it's like I'm gonna put my hand up and say, point of order. We have a motion on the floor. We have to vote on it.
Okay.
We can choose to defeat it and then come back and have a discussion about deferral, but we can't table it unless we're gonna finish it off in this meeting. So I would just suggest myself, I would just prefer to vote on the motion. If we choose to defeat it, that's the proper procedure.
Councillor Bates?
I wasn't going round the table. I actually had that lit. I was just going to make the point that I don't fully understand the organization, but I trust that for all these years that we've been using it to get the power of purchasing, and we just finished approving one. Was it just because it happened to be a result that we liked? I'm asking that as a rhetorical question to my fellow councillors. I'm putting my trust at this point in the fact that we were told that there could be a liability that the process to administration's knowledge was done in a fair way, and their recommendation is in front of us. I'm struggling to figure out what else they could find for us, because liability is very hard to define. I mean, ultimately, most lawyers convert it to a financial thing one way or another, but yeah, I'm putting some faith in administration and how we operate on all of our purchasing. I guess I'm making that as a generic statement.
Councillor Harrison?
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. I would support that we vote on the motion. The motion's on the floor, and deal with this motion today. However, I would suggest that we recommend to administration that you bring back a report on what are the requirements of the Northwest Agreement. For us to understand, it sounds like we need some more information, and also the Alberta Purchasing Connection. I've worked with both organizations, and the rules are pretty strict and pretty detailed. So I don't know if there's more in there that we need to understand, but I would recommend to administration that you do the Reader's Digest version and bring it back to a future council meeting so we've got some direction for future purchases. Thank you, Mayor Barkley.
Yeah, and maybe it's even a bigger discussion than that. I know when we started the term, we kind of went down the path of social procurement a little bit, but we've never prioritized that, and I think that's where this fits at some point in time, and having a different policy. We've seen other communities in Alberta that have those policies, and some of that is around, I think, maybe creating some ability to shop local if possible. But anyway, we do have a motion. Did you have anything further, Councillor Dunham? You have your light on, or?
Yes. I guess just to state that I have faith in our history and how we have done this before. It was just what I had heard going forward that kind of left that question to me. If that had not been brought up, I know which direction I would have already gone. So I'm just saying that it just has sparked something in me for a few more questions and a few more layers to understand it, because to date, we really haven't had a very robust discussion around items like this. So, thank you.
Okay. Councillor Maceras.
I thought I might be forgotten if I didn't put my light on. I think it's fair to have a discussion about our procurement policies, but I don't think it's fair to have it in the middle of voting on proposals that have been rated already. So I am with Councillor, my colleagues over there who would like to vote on the motion today, and in trusting the points and the weights that these proposals were given by our administration.
Yeah, for sure. So we do have a motion to purchase from Wolf. So I will ask the question. All in favor? Okay, and opposed? Okay, thank you. And then, C.U. Becker, could we, would you like do you want a motion for the bringing back some information on procurement in the future, at a future meeting?
Yeah, definitely, Mayor
Would that be helpful to
Barkley.
you?
It's not too hard to round this information up. Our procurement policy, the purchasing agreements, as well as APC. Yeah, those are easy to access. We'll bring them to a AMP meeting.
Yeah, okay. So we'll have, could somebody please make a motion that we direct administration to bring back information on procurement at a future meeting?
Mayor Barkley, I'm happy to make that motion.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. And all in favor? Okay. Okay, and we'll move on to 5.3.
Okay, one more unit, in regards to our Skidsteer purchase. So this is unit 35. It's a 2008 Skidsteer with tracks. This unit's become high in maintenance and in hours. Once again, we will sell this unit at auction once a new one is purchased. We have decided to go with a wheeled unit this time, as it will provide more multi-purpose use within multiple departments. The RFQ was issued on February 6th and closed on February 22nd, posted on Alberta Purchasing Connection. We did receive 9 submissions. The quotes were scored based on price, warranty, and options provided or requested. The top 5, so number 5, Bobcat of Red Deer, 100 points. Brant scored 95. Future Ag was 90. Rocky Mountain Equipment was 85, and Noble was 80 points. It's administration's recommendation to purchase the 2024 Bobcat Skidsteer from Bobcat of Red Deer for the total purchase price of $84,241.76. We'll take any questions.
All right, thank you. Could I please have someone make the recommended motion? Councillor Wing.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. I would move that council approve the purchase of a 2024 Bobcat S76 skid steer from Bobcat of Red Deer for the total price of $84,241.76 to be funded from the Fleet Capital Reserve.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any questions? No? All in favor? Okay, carried unanimous. And we'll move into 5.4 with Director Kennedy with the solid waste.
Yes. So this one here, so we went through an RFP process to seek qualified companies for contracting the solid waste collection services for the next 3 years with the opportunity for 2 one-year extensions to the contract. The RFP was issued on January 18th on APC and closed on February 21st. We did receive 5 submissions. The proposals were scored based on meeting the objectives of the RFP, proposed services, past performance references, vendor reliability, costs, and then implementation and termination plans. The following is a list of the submissions scored from highest to lowest. E360S, 85%. Empringham Disposal 70, Waste Management 63, Collective Waste 53, and Go Services, they had no automated equipment or residential collection services, so we didn't score those. It is administration's recommendation to award the contract to E360S as our proposed services met with the proposed requirements, acknowledging as well target areas for improvement, which included community engagement, route mapping, optimization, and cart or inventory management. Included in the proposal was an optional service and cost to include video tracking on their equipment. This is something that administration would like to review in 2025 as it would be an increase to the budget. Their disposal locations include solid waste to the city of Red Deer, landfill, recycling goes to Capital Paper in Edmonton, and Stickland Farms for their organics. E360S is committed to working with the town to promote environmental practices, increase recycling rates, and reducing waste sent to landfills. Based on the prices submitted, there will be no increase to the costs in 2024, but the contract did include a 3% increase annually. Financially, no impacts to the budget in 2024, but we will need to accommodate the 3% increase in future budgets. Total budget for solid waste collection this year is $689,324.
Okay, thank you, Director Kennedy. Could I please have someone make the recommended motion?
Sure, I'll make that motion. That council approves the award of the solid waste collection contract to E360s for the period of 3 years with the option of extension for 2 one-year extensions.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Maceros. Do you have, Director Kennedy, what the cost of the 3 different streams are?
I don't have a breakdown of the 3 different streams.
Okay,
Yeah, I could get that for council though.
okay. And I'm also curious about the waste is now going to Red Deer as opposed to Coronation. Was it going to Coronation before? That's my understanding.
I think they originally were going to Coronation, but they have been going to Red Deer last 2 years, I believe. It was Camrose.
Cameras, okay. And also, if you could bring back for us, I'm curious if we could get an answer, how much of the recycling is actually being recycled?
How much of the recycling is being recycled? Okay, we have requested an audit from them. They are our
Okay.
current provider, so we are looking for that audit. They've told us by April.
Okay,
That should be able to provide us with that information.
okay, sure, thank you. Anybody else have any questions? Councillor Bates?
I'm not sure when the appropriate time is, because I'd like to discuss a little bit too about the statement about they're prepared to work with us and promote environmental best practices, increase recycling rates and all that. So I'm prepared to, just with the service they've provided and the recommendation we've got, I'm prepared to approve the motion. But I'd like to talk a little bit about after, or I can right now. Again, I don't think it affects me approving this motion, but one of the things I discovered in the last couple of months was I had a couple of household small appliances to get rid of, and was totally surprised that I could take them down to our transfer site and actually then get them recycled rather than put into the landfill. And so I think we need constant looking at our recycling and communication, because I'm sure there's lots of citizens don't know that. And when I dropped off, I'm trying to remember, a coffee machine and a printer, you see vacuum cleaners, you see all kinds of things that I'm sure are winding up in the landfill if people don't know that they can take them down there. And they do end up then getting recycled somehow. That's one example. And then it seems like the traditional recycled, the plastic and the cardboard and it's always, the goalposts move once in a while, and I think we need to know those when they do, because we hear certain plastics, there is a market and there isn't a market. And so it's just outside of who we use, we need to keep, just keep getting updates on our waste handling. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councillor Wing?
Thank you, Mayor Barkley, and through to Director Kennedy. I'm just curious about video tracking on the equipment. What exactly does that look like? Like you'll see my garbage can running down the alley, or what?
Yep, Councillor Wing. So what that includes in their proposal is it's some, call it report carding. What they'd be able to do is actually video and then provide some documentation of what goes in to the unit. So we do get contamination observations once in a while. What this equipment, what they've proposed to us, what this equipment will be able to do is that it tracks, so then they'll be able to actually go back and find that unit, that number, the bin number, so it actually tracks bins as well. And they'll be able to actually do a report card for us. So provides us with a little bit more information on what's getting dumped, like if we have contamination, what is the contamination, that type of stuff. So, yep. Yeah.
Okay, so nothing else. We have a motion. All in favor? All right, carried. Thank you, Director Kennedy. And we'll move on to 6.1 with the Council Code of Conduct Bylaw with CEO Becker.
Great, thank you. So this item has come to you on a few occasions. The initial direction to look at a social media clause. Last AMP, we looked at the actual clause. You gave direction to forward onto the bylaw. So this final touch is to actually implement that clause as per the attached. Looking for council to consider 3 readings to allow this bylaw to go in. And it's on its way.
All right, thank you. So I'll please have someone give first reading?
Mayor Barkley, I move that council gives first reading to bylaw 1721-2024, the council code of conduct bylaw.
All right, thank you. Any discussion? Councillor Bates?
Yeah, I just have to state that seeing as it doesn't state I have to use it, I'm okay.
Okay. Any more discussion? No? All in favor? Okay, I'll please have someone give second reading.
Mayor Barkley, I would make the motion that council give second reading to bylaw 1721-2024, the council code of conduct bylaw.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, we'll please have someone make a motion that we move to third reading.
I'll move that we give consideration to moving to third reading of bylaw 1721-2024.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? And we'll just have somebody please give third and final reading.
I'll move that council gives third reading to bylaw 1721-2024, the council code of conduct bylaw.
Okay, thank you. Last chance, any discussion? All in favor? Okay, unanimous, thank you. And we'll move into correspondence and information. Community Power One event, good event, attend at one time. Danes Pro Rodeo sponsorship. I know in the past several years we've sponsored $2,500 to the rodeo. Would somebody be interested in making a motion that we sponsor the Danes Rodeo for a certain amount of money? Councillor Bates?
Sure, I'll move that we sponsor them again this year for the $2,500.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, carried. And we'll just continue to move down. Do we know, CO Becker and the RCMP crime stats, anything about like where the business break-ins are occurring?
Mayor Barkley, to your question, not specifically, but there are certainly questions we can ask. I know our CMP usually gets into more detail with the policing committee, but
Okay,
if you're interested, we can find out.
yeah, maybe sometime Staff Sergeant Naimi can come and
Sure.
present to council when he's available. Very nice letter from the email from the Senior Drop-In Center from our presentation we had there. And the rest is information. So could I please have someone make a motion that we accept the correspondence as information?
I'll move that we accept the correspondence as information.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Okay, and we'll get into council reports, and we'll begin with Councillor Wing today.
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. I don't have anything to add to my submitted report. This week, I will be attending the CED luncheon on Wednesday, and then going to the Alberta Muni Spring Leader Caucus Thursday and Friday. Just a reminder, I'm absent from next week's A&P and the regular council meeting on March the 25th. One comment that I'd like to make, or that I'd like to bring to all of you, is relative to the letter that Mayor Barkley forwarded out to us last week from the province, from Municipal Affairs, with the awards program that they run each year. And the fact that the library in Innisfail is going to be celebrating a really significant anniversary. I wonder if council in our administration, in working with the library administration, if we would consider doing a joint nomination for the library in recognition of that anniversary, and then outlining some of the very creative events that happen at the Innisfail Library. For example, we have a partnership with the Bowden Institute where books are taken out to inmates on a regular basis, and as well as we've got special programming for newcomers, we've got special programming for folks with some disabilities and reading delays, that kind of thing. So I think the role of the Innisfail Library is significant, and just the fact that we have this special anniversary coming up this year, I think that's a nice grouping to be able to put a nomination together. So I'd like to make a motion, if possible, that we work with the library to prepare a nomination for The Minister Awards for Municipal and Public Library Excellence.
Okay, thank you. So would the library do that themselves?
Well, they did last year and they didn't receive anything, but I think having the strength of the town
Maybe
as
what-
being involved.
Maybe what we could do is provide a letter of support to the
Perhaps,
application. Would
perhaps.
that be easier as opposed to try to get both
Yeah, I think
organizations working on it? Is
Perhaps,
maybe a
yeah,
bit.
yeah, we can have the management on both ends look at that.
Have you seen
but-
the application, Councillor Wing?
Yeah, it's not a big
Okay,
onerous
I
process.
didn't look at
yeah,
it, so-
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, so anyways, if we can
No.
support the library in that process, that would be appreciated.
for sure. No, fully supportive of that. Does anybody have any comments about that? All in favor of supporting
Thank
a
you.
nomination for the library?
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure, thank you. That would be great if they would get an award. Councillor Bates?
So does our report come up, or? Okay, I did all those things. Yeah, I went through, since the last one, the seniors engagement, the 2 budget reviews, the demonstration meeting, MDP, the water, no, lots of water, Mountain View Water Commission Drought Committee, water sharing discussion, member usage, the Alberta Drought Town Hall. I did step in for Councillor Hysted for the village AGM and monthly meetings. No great surprise, none of their executive changed. And then I did attend the Alberta Muni drought webinar for the North, as I had a next day meeting in Sundre with the Watershed Alliance. And my understanding is the first half was probably a mirror image of what the rest saw for the South. The rest was municipalities in the North talking about their particular situations. And I'm assuming I'm the only one that was on there. They're not without problem. There were discussions from Peace River and Northern Lights County, and the Peace River itself is affected and connected to British Columbia, to the BC Hydro, and there's just all kinds of interconnections, and they do experience drought in the north as well. Maybe not as severe as in the south. And then the Watershed Alliance was very informative. Just a number of topics. I could certainly talk to people about that offline. This week, the Power Place presentation I plan to go to, and the Police and Safe Community meeting, both on the 13th. And then I guess we're going north to the AM conference for the 14th and 15th. I plan to attend the Fish and Game event Saturday, and I was just going to bring it to everyone's attention here that former Councillor Rehberger's annual boob tour is on April 16th. And my understanding is you buy your tickets at the Legion. I would volunteer to coordinate those. If anybody wants me to, I could be that go-between. I go very frequently to the Legion for coffee, and would be happy to get the tickets. So if you want to let me know. And I think that's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councillor Harrison?
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. And following up on Councillor Bates's comments on the Legion, I'd like to let everybody you know in the gallery and council here that a longtime employee of the Legion passed away on Saturday evening, very suddenly, Pat Carpin. So you can send condolences to her husband. I attended the ministers' gathering, fireside chat on March the 5th, and very enlightening. He gave us sort of an idea of there's lots to do with less money. So it's going to be probably a tough year going forth here. I think that's about, I'm attending the A&M. I'd certainly like to get a ride with somebody up. They give me a loaner truck that's got a 454 Hemi in it and 20 feet long, and I can't park it in a parkade, so I'd like to catch a ride in the little car.
Let's go with you.
If I could. And also fishing game on the 16th when we get back, so looking forward to a busy week. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Councillor Hysted?
Yeah, Your Worship, I want to apologize. I didn't have my computer with me on the Thursday, Friday. I was out of town, so I did not submit a report, but I want to thank Councillor Bates for attending the village AGM and the meeting on my behalf. I know that we had Minister Dreeshen on the Tuesday, and in the upcoming week, I'll be at the Alberta Munis as well as the Peace, Police and Safe Committee meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Dunham.
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. I have one addition to mine, and that was I did attend the Preparing Southern Municipalities for Drought on Friday. This week, I will be attending the CED luncheon on Wednesday. I've got a CSSC meeting Wednesday evening, and then Thursday, Friday, I will be in Edmonton for Spring Caucus.
Okay, thank you. And Councillor Maceros.
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. I can see I'm going to have to revise my, the strategy for my reporting, because I've only kind of put in there what I thought was a little bit different than what everybody else was doing. So I guess I also want to say that I also attended the Drought Town Hall and the Southern, the drought for Southern Alberta. The Rural Forum for FCM, the Committee of the Whole for FCM, the session with Minister Dreeshen, and I'll be going to the CED luncheon on Wednesday as well, and I'm unfortunately missing the spring unis.
Okay, thank you. And my information's in the report. Just add, I also attended or was online with the drought workshop on, I don't know if that was Thursday or Friday now, Friday I think. And also Partners for Climate Protection, so it's an FCM program. Was on a Zoom meeting the other day, and it was actually the offset credit program that the federal government has, so carbon credits. City of Calgary also presented their output-based pricing system. They actually receive tier credits for street lighting. I don't know whether we can look into that or not, but as well as landfill gas capture and combustion. They're actually earning enough renewable energy credits that they pay 100% of their electricity from what they are doing environmentally. So it was pretty interesting. It went by quick. It was about 50 minutes with a lot of information, but I'll put it into a report next time and certainly share with administration what that was about. So, and then we had our first mid-size towns Mayor's Caucus last Friday, and pretty good information coming out of that. So we'll share that with you as we move forward, but certainly top of the list is LGFF, and certainly recreation funding was right along with it. So it was a good meeting, and everybody's dealing with the same things that we are. So we'll go into upcoming events. Oh, I'm sorry, Sarah
Just
Becker.
a couple motions. I'm not sure if Councillor Wing made a motion.
Yeah, she did.
I don't think it was
Yes.
voted on.
Yeah, it was.
Was it? And then a motion to accept council reports.
Oh, okay, sorry, I'm not used to that, right? Because we always, okay, I'll have a motion to accept council reports. We don't usually do that.
You don't?
No.
Oh, my
But we
apologies.
haven't been on, we haven't had reports before. It's more been verbal, so,
Okay, my apologies.
no, it's okay. We'll have a motion to accept council reports. I'm making a motion to, yeah, just to kind of keep things going here, so, okay. And we'll go to upcoming events. And any comments on this, Councillor Hystad?
No, I'll just make a motion to accept the upcoming events.
Okay, perfect. And any changes or anything anybody sees? No, all in favor? Okay, carried. And then we will have a motion to go in camera, please.
I move that we go in camera.
Okay, all in favor? All right, and we'll take a 5-minute break.